Welcome to the PowerPoint 2010 video series. In this video, we are going to look at how to create and use macros within your presentation. Now, although within Microsoft Office, macros is generally made quite easy within a program like Excel, where you can use the macro to record your steps and you can literally click as you do things and the macro will be recorded. However, with PowerPoint, it's a little bit more tricky. So let's go back to basics and understand, first of all, what is a macro? A macro is a way to automate tasks. So it's basically what we do is we program code that will automate a particular task for us. Now, why would I want to use such a feature? Well, let's say, for example, although my presentation is only 6 slides, if I got given a presentation of maybe over 100 slides and there was lots of audio all over that presentation and I wanted to remove all the audio in the presentation, I would have to click on every single slide, check where there is audio and manually delete them one by one, which could be quite a process. What I've instead decided to do is find a macro that does this for me and embed it into my presentation. So there's 2 ways that you could do a macro. You can research online what it is that you're trying to do in PowerPoint, and all you need to do when you Google whatever search you're doing is just search PowerPoint macros how to and put in whatever it is that you're trying to do. And most of the time there's a lot of open source information there for you where you can just copy the macro and use it. Alternatively, you'd have to use what we call VBA, which is Visual Basics for Application, which is a programming language that you can learn, but it is quite difficult. So for the purpose of this particular video, I have already got a macro inside my Visual Basic, inside my macro editor, so that I can show you how we're going to do this. What I'd like to do is I'd like this macro to remove all the audio in my presentation. But in order to be able to view our macros, we need to add a new tab to our menu. So to do so, you're going to click on the File button and go down to the Options menu. Once you've clicked on the Options menu, you'll notice on the left-hand side there's something there that says Customize Ribbon. If you click on that, it shows you all the tabs that you've got available to you. And you'll notice that the Developer tab is not selected. This is the one that you would like to select in order to view your macros. Once you've done so, click OK. You'll now notice at the top of your screen you've got a new menu called Developer. Now, there's a couple of options here, and once you get more clued up on VBA, you'll know that you can add forms, you can add action buttons, you can add text boxes, and all incorporate that into whatever macro you're doing. But for now, I'm just going to click on the Macros button. From here, I've already got a macro there called Delete All Audio. You can choose to run that macro immediately, step in or edit it, or delete it. And you can also choose, if you haven't got this one available, you can choose to create a new macro. So I just want to quickly show you, if I click on edit this, what this macro will look like if you had to create it from scratch. It'll open up a new box called Microsoft Basic for Applications. Inside here, you will notice on the left-hand side, that is your project screen. So every single PowerPoint file is considered a separate VBA project. And inside you'll have the actual objects, which will contain your slides, as well as what we call modules. And modules is another way for saying macros. This information here I researched online to find a macro that will remove all the audio for me. But you can also see that it is quite easy to start learning the language. It does make sense. It would just take a little bit of time. So I've basically copied and pasted from a particular resource all my information into this screen over here. And then once you've done that, you can view the Microsoft PowerPoint to make sure your macro is running, or save. But we don't want to save until we know for sure that this macro is actually working. So I'm going to go back to PowerPoint. I know my macro is there, so I'm going to click back on the Macros button and I'm going to choose to run the macro. it's popped up to tell me it is finished and the number of deleted objects is 1. That message box was created as part of the macro. Then I click OK. And that's what you really need to do. You need to find macro code that you can incorporate into your presentations so that you can automate tasks such as this one to make it easier for you to run your presentations.